afternoon all. My name is Ash Bisoy from grade 8 and now I'm gonna be giving the summary on chapter 6 of our maths textbook of grade 8, square and square root. So let us get started. So now we will be seeing what is a square. What is a square number? So any natural number, take m. If m is able to be shown as n square, then m is a square number. And why is it that type of number called a square? Because when we find the area of a square, we do side into side and we get the square of the side. So that means just like how we multiplied both the sides to get an answer, just like that to find m, we multiplied n two times like this. N into n is called n square. So mainly we have learned exponents in power last year. So that means when we multiply n with itself two times, we get n square. But that's not the case that always m will be a square number. Like for example, 4 can be a square number because it can be 2 square, as it will be 2 into 2. But 25 can be a square as 5 square. But can 32 be a square? No, it cannot be, because 32 comes in between 5 square and 6 square. 5 square is 25 and 6 square is 36. So 32 comes in between both. But in between 5 and 6 there is no natural number. That means 32 cannot be a square number. So it means that if a number has to be a square number, then its number should be a natural number. So that means all numbers are not square numbers. In general, any number which is able to be shown as n square or any number which can be squared, the answer is a square number. Let's see some examples. Like if I take 6 square is 36. Now if they will ask, is 49 a square? 49. Then you have to find square root. And that is what we will be learning in the second part of this chapter. So is 49 a square or not? There is a very shorter method, and for this we have to learn the properties. Before properties, we have to see some more important parts, like how can we find that there are numbers in between two square numbers. So 6 square is 36. Next is 7 square, which is equal to 49. So that means any number between 6 square and 7 square is not a square. Any numbers between 6 square and 7 square are not going to be square numbers. Just like how that means any number between 36 and 49 cannot be a square number, as there is no natural number between 6 and 7. So if this number is gonna be a natural number, then only this can be a square number. Now we will see the properties. So now we have to see the properties of square numbers, which is very important in identifying that is the number square or not without finding the square root. So these are very important even in finding the square roots or even finding in the squares. So first is 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. This is that if a number ends with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9, then it can be a square number. That is, there are chances for a number to be square if it ends with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9. Second, 2, 3, 7 or 8. If any number ends with 2, 3, 7 or 8, then the number cannot be a square number. This means if they give you a number and ask that please tell what is it a square number or not, then you can just look at the unit digit of the number. These are all unit digits. You have to see the unit digit. Like if we take 3001, 1 comes in a unit digit. So there are chances that 3001 can be a square number. So like that, you have to always look at the unit digit to check if these numbers are there or not. If 2, 3, 7 or 8 comes in a unit digit, that means that it will not be a square. But if 0, 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9 comes, then there are chances that it can be. Okay, next we will see this box. This table shows the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh properties. That is, if any the number which is given to you, if that number's unit digit ends in 1 or 9, then its square will end in 1. Now if they ask you that find the square of 19, or if they find that please find the unit digit of the square of 19, then you can tell that oh, it ends in 9. That means a square will end in this 19 square will end with the unit digit 1 because of the property. So that means if any number ends with 1 or 9, then its square will end in 1. Now next, 4, if the number ends in 4 or 6, then its unit will be 6. Like how we have seen 4 square equals to 16 and 6 square equals to 36. These are some examples. 2 or 8. 2 square equals 2 square equals to 4 and 8 square equals to 64. So that means if any number ends with 2 or 8, then its square will end in 4. And 5 is always gonna be 5. If the number given to you ends in 5, then its square will also end in 5. And what about 0? If it's given 10, then square is gonna be 100. What it means that when there is a 0, then its square will have the double number of zeros that the number given to you has. Now if you have 100 and it's telling you to find the square of 100, then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. There will be 4 zeros. Why? Because it says that if it has 0, then there will be double number of zeros in the square. Here it had 2 zeros, so that means there will be 4 zeros in this square. Now we'll see the next properties. If any number ends with odd number of zeros, then it cannot be a square number. So if it ends with an odd number of zeros, then it cannot be a square number. Next, the square of an even number will always be an even number. How we have seen here. So if any number ends with 1 or 4 or 6, then it ends with 6. So the number ending with 4 or 6 will be even, and if its square ends with 6, so it will be an even number. Then if it ends in 2 or 8, then its square will also end in 4. So all these three are even. That means any number, the even number squares will always be an even number. Now we will see some interesting patterns in square numbers. Now we will be seeing interesting patterns in square numbers which are very important also in finding out the squares. These give a very easy way of finding out the squares, and it doesn't require you to do all the calculations of proper square to find out the square number. First one is when we add consecutive triangular numbers, we get a square number. Triangular number means like 3 dots, so it's a triangular number. And next is 6, so this is another triangular number, 6. So when we add these, it becomes 9, which is a square number. So we can see here that when we add two consecutive triangular numbers, we get a square number. So this is a very easy pattern to find out square numbers. Now next we'll be seeing the other pattern. Now we'll be seeing adding odd numbers. When we add consecutive odd numbers, then we get a square number. For example, 1 plus 3 equals to 4, which is 2 square. Then 1 plus 3 plus 5 is 9, which is 3 square. So you can see that when we add two consecutive odd numbers starting from 1, then we get square numbers. And how we can find this? Now there are two square numbers, so that means it will be 2 square. Now here there are 3 square numbers, so it will be 3 square. Now if they give 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11, so there is 1 2 3 4 5 6, so it will be 6 square, that is 36. You don't really need to add them. You can just find how many number of odd numbers are there starting from 1, so that you can find how many it is. So that means if there is n number of odd numbers, then it will be n square. Okay, now we will go to the third one. Now we will check how many numbers are there between two square numbers. Now if we take we need two numbers, that is n and n plus 1. So what does this rule say? This rule says that there are two n numbers between n and n plus 1. We can see this. If n equals to 5, then n plus 1 equals to 6. And how we can check? We can check n square equals to 5 square equals to 25, and n plus 1 square equals to 6 square equals to 36. So that means now in this example we have to find out how many numbers lie between 25 and 36, and the rule says 2n. So here n is 5, so 2n equals to 5 into 2, that is 10. That means there are 10 numbers between 25 and 36. And this means that there is exactly one number less than the difference between 25 and 36. What is the difference? The difference is 36 minus 25. That is 11. And how many numbers lie between? It is just one less than 11. That is 10. Now we'll go to the next tool. The fourth one is that it is a sum of consecutive natural numbers. That means every square number is the sum of consecutive natural numbers. Like 25 equals to 12 plus 13. Now if we take 49, then how to find it out? There's one way. First number. How if we want to find the first number, we have to do n square minus 1 by 2, and if you want to find the second number, then we have to do n square plus 1 by 2. And what is n here? N is the number given to us. Like if it is asking that take for example, it is asking you to find the consecutive numbers being added for 5 square. 5 square is 25, so it will be 5 square minus 1 by 2. 5 square is 25, and 25 minus 1 is 24, and 24 by 2 is 12. So that's the first number. The second number, so this will be 5 square plus 1 by 2. So it will be 5 square is 25 plus 1 26. 26 divided by 2 equals to 13, which is the second number. Now we will do the same thing for 49. So 49 is 7 square, as we know. So first number will be 7 square minus 1 by 2. That is 7 square is 49 minus 1 48, and 48 by 2 is 24. Then 7 square plus 1 by 2. 7 square is 49, as we know, plus 1 50. by 2, that's 25. Or we can just add we know the 24th consecutive number is 25, so it is 24 plus 25. So here we know that when there is square number, we can find the two consecutive natural numbers that are being added. But this is only possible if the square number is odd. If the square number is even, like if we take, for example, if we take 16, so we know 16 equals to 4 square. So first number we need to do 4 square minus 1 by 2. That is 16 minus 1, 15. 15 by 2. And 15 by 2 will come in decimals like 7 by 5. And 7 by 5 is not a natural number. So here 7.5 is a decimal. And that's the problem in even square numbers. So this pattern is only possible in odd square numbers. Okay, now let's go to the next pattern. Okay, our next pattern is, it's going to be product of two consecutive even or odd numbers. Just like if we take for example 11 into 13. 11 into 13 equals to 143. So it can be like 11 into 13 equals to 12 minus 1 into 12 plus 1, as we know. So it is 12 square minus 1, because when we multiply minus and plus we get minus, and there are two 12s, so it becomes 12 square minus 1, which becomes 144 minus 1 equals to 143. So this is a very easy way of finding products using this square method. So what does this mean? This means that a plus 1 into a minus 1 equals to a square minus 1. This is a very easy method. Here a is 12. So a plus 1 is 13. A minus 1 is 11. So when we multiply a plus 1 into a minus 1, there are two a's. So when they get multiplied, they become a square. And the 1 stays as it is, because 1 into 1 is 1. And when we multiply plus and minus, we get minus. So it becomes a square minus 1. And here it was 12 square minus 1. So it becomes 144 minus 1, 143. Now we will be going forward about finding how we can find square numbers. Now we come to the most important part of this chapter, that is how to find square. So the most easiest way of finding square is multiplication, but it is only concerned with small numbers. If you're finding 2 square, you can multiply 2 into 2. If you're finding 6 square, you can multiply 6 into 6. But if you come to bigger numbers, something like 53 or something like 67, of course you cannot multiply easily. Now take a number to be x, and you need to find its square. So x can be written as p plus q. So it will be, if it's x square, then it will be p plus q square. Now take for example, we take 53. 53 can be written as 50 plus 3. So it will be, if it's 53 square, it's going to be 50 plus 3 square equals to 50. So it will be 50 plus 3 into 50 plus 3, then equal to, we can do 50 into 50 plus 3 plus 3 into 50 plus 3. This is, we are using last year's linear equations problems, like we multiply this with these two and then this with these two. So then we can find the answer. So then it will be, we can continue here. So we can, it will be 50 into 50 plus 50 into 3 plus 3 into 50 plus 3 into 3. This is a simplification of what we were learning in algebra last year. So 50 into 50 will be 2500 plus 150 plus 150 plus 9. So it will be 2809. So this is a very easy simplification of how to find square. So to put it in brief, you have to make 53 or any number into two parts. Like 53 can be 50 plus 3. Then for finding square, you have to do 50 plus 3 square. So that means it will be 50 plus 3 into 50 plus 3. So using our last year's algebraic linear equations, the simple equations algebra, we have to multiply both of these numbers in this bracket into this whole bracket. So it will be 50 into 50 plus 3 and 3 into 50 plus 3. So after simplification, it becomes 50 into 50 after multiplying these both, then 50 plus 3 after multiplying these both, and then 3 into 50 in this, and 3 into 3. So it becomes 2500 plus 150 plus 150 plus 9 equals 2809. So you don't need to really multiply 53 into 53 to find this number. You can use through this formula. Now we will be seeing Pythagorean triplet. So Pythagorean triplet. What is triplet? Triplet means a group of three numbers. So what does these three group of numbers tell us? It is if two square numbers when added give an answer which is also a square number, then it is known as a Pythagorean triplet. For example, we can do 8 square plus 15 square, which will give us 17 square. This is a very good known Pythagorean triplet. Then now we have to know how to find it out. Okay, so there's a very easy way of finding the numbers out. So if any number which is m and is greater than 1, then it is going to be 2m square plus m square minus 1 equals to m square plus 1 square. So m is going to be any number which is given to you in the question, and that will be of course greater than 1. So these three are going to be the numbers which help you, or these are the numbers which form a Pythagorean triplet. So 2m square is gonna be the least. Now in the questions they may say you that find a Pythagorean triplet in which 8 is the smallest member. So 2m square is the smallest number in any Pythagorean triplet, and m square minus 1 is going to be the second, like the middle value, and the greatest number will be the sum, which is m square plus 1. And how to find it out? Now they may give you, now if they give you a number, like find the smallest Pythagorean triplet which has find the Pythagorean triplet which has the smallest member, which is 8. So how to find it out? Smallest member means it is going to be 2m. So 2m will be equal to 8. Then m will be 8 by 2 equals to 4. Then we have to find m square minus 1, that is equal to 4 square minus 1 equals to 15. And then m square plus 1 will be 4 square plus 1 equals to 17. So here we have found out the group which I gave you in the example. So it will be 8, 15 and 17. So it will be 8 plus 15 square equals to 17 square. So you can use this as a trial and error method also. But when they say you that the number is going to be the smallest number, which is 8, then you can know that it is going to be 2m, because 2m is always the smallest. Now if they don't specify, then what do you have to do? So in case they didn't specify you that the given number is going to be the greatest or the smallest, you better take it as the smallest number, because the number can be the middle number, it can be the biggest number, or it can be the smallest number in any, because there can be many triplets with the same number. Now for example, they gave you the number to be 12, the number to be 12, so you can take the number as 2m. So here we know that now 12 is going to be the smallest number. So m will be 12 by 2, that is equal to 6. Now with what is m, you can find out the two other numbers also. That is m square minus 1. You have to do first 6 square minus 1, which is 36 minus 1, 35, and the other number is going to be m square plus 1 equals to, that is 6 square plus 1 will be 36 plus 1, 37. So here we have found out the other triplet, that is 12, 35 and 37. So here we can see that if you take it as a middle number also, you could have found out, but for finding these three numbers, you need to know the main value, that is m. And the easiest way to find m is going to be if you take the number to be assumed as 2m. If you take it as m square minus 1, then you have to add 1 with it, then you have to again find out the square root. So it is a very big method. So better you take it as 2m as a trial and error method, and you find out the triplet. But in case it says that it's not the smallest and the largest one, then you can take this value, and you know what to do. You can just do the how we learned last year in equations, that you have to do the transposing method. If you think that it's going to be the largest number, then you can minus 1, because it's plus 1 here. When you take the other side, because minus 1, and then you have to find the square root, so that you get the number m. And after you get m, you can find these two numbers also. So here we are gonna end our square. In the next part, that is part 2, we'll be learning about square root, how to find square root, and the properties of square root also, and what is a square root mainly. So let us meet again in the part 2 of this same chapter. So please don't go anywhere. You can learn the square root part and clear your doubts of that part soon. Thank you.